If you've ever heard anyone talking about human evolution, you might have seen this photo. The March of Progress was an illustration by Rudolf Zallinger that depicts the evolution of man from a quadruped ape-like creature to a bipedal, upright Homo sapien. This oversimplification of the human genome is so oversimplified that it's actually wrong. I'm going to talk more about it later in this video, but for now, let's discuss the origins of hominid studies, where we've been, where we're going, what we got right, and what we got incredibly wrong. Also, I did in fact get into some poison ivy this week at my job. I itch so bad, so apologies for the huge rash on my neck. Scientists have been digging up bones for centuries. The first early human fossil was discovered in 1856. These fragments of skulls and bones were a member of the Homo neanderthalensis species, or Neanderthal. It was found in Feldhofer Cave of the Neander Valley near Dusseldorf, Germany. The cluster of fossils were found by miners and consisted of a robust cranial vault, a massive arch brow ridge, and several limb bones. Remains of the large extinct mammals and crude stone tools were also discovered as well. There was some controversy about the discovered bones, mainly because many scientists believed them to be an early form of Homo sapiens, but with the ever-increasing understanding of the Homo genus and the release of Charles Darwin's On the Origin of a Species 4 years later, it solidified the bones as something else, an entirely new species that walked upright and had similar brain capacity to humans. Even with the introduction of Darwin's theory of evolution, there were many who opposed the idea that humans could have acquired their incredible brain power and consciousness through natural selection. This still skews paleoanthropology to this day. This idea that humans are the elite species on Earth. And although we have successfully colonized a vast majority of the world, so too have ants. And this view of humans have thrown off our understanding of these early hominids because many scientists struggle to put their biases about Homo sapiens to further explore early humans. As this collection of bones grew, so did our understanding of early humans. The Tong child was a massive discovery for paleoanthropology. A skull of a small child was found in Tong, South Africa in 1924. This child belonged to the species Australopithecus africanus, a species of early humans that lived 3.3 to 2.1 million years ago. This discovery is the first confirmation of early humans originating from Africa. And although it wouldn't really be widely accepted till 30 years later, it did provide early evidence that humans derived from apes. There are 21 known hominid species that have existed from 7 million years ago to present day. And unlike the March of Progress picture I mentioned earlier, this is not a linear evolution. Many species live together at one time. We even have overlap with species like Neanderthals and Denisovans. Moreover, we are not entirely purebred Homo sapiens. Many people have Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA in their genome, suggesting that early hominids were interbreeding and interbreeding often.
It looks and it is modern Homo sapiens. Yeah. But it has some features which are more like Neanderthal, like this one. It's quite clear. It's a mandible of a modern human with this chin.
There's a chin.
The chin, yeah.
And Neanderthals don't have a chin. Neanderthals' chin kind of recedes.
But then you see the size of the molars, which are really huge.
More a Neanderthal feature.
Modern sapiens, but with Neanderthal teeth. Yeah, also too has the same hybrid features. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at the face.
You look at that and you do think that's Homo sapiens. And then it has these features on it, which are more Neanderthal, like this occipital bun here at the back, that bulge at the back of the skull here.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. It's not a Neanderthal, but it has Neanderthal features, which prompt us to think about some sort of interbreeding.
And this interbreeding could have actually saved us from extinction. Think of a purebred dog and a mutt that you found in the shelter. Purebred dogs are known for their terrible medical issues because inbreeding has caused the same recessive traits to be passed down over and over again. While not always the case, but mutt dogs tend to live longer and have less health issues. Around 800,000 to 900,000 years ago, our population bottlenecked to around 1,200 individuals. For around 120,000 years, the population stayed the same. Over time, our population recovered, but our genetics didn't. The lack of biodiversity made us incredibly susceptible to disease and famine and climate change. I cannot stress enough how close we came to becoming extinct. As our population started to migrate out of Africa, we ran into Neanderthals in Eurasia. We bred with them, and scientists believe a combination of conflict and interbreeding eventually led to the disappearance of Neanderthals. But their genetics still live on. They allowed us to be more acclimated to colder weather, they gave us a more variable genome, and better protected us from environmental changes and disease. Moreover, our understanding of early humans has grown. Homo naledi was found in Rising Star Cave in South Africa. Even today, more information about this species is coming out in new studies. Most recently, they discovered the cave they found a cluster of bones in were all female. This indicates that they were placed there for a reason, maybe for a burial or a religious practice. Additionally, they were found deep in a cave with not a lot of light, indicating that they had access to things like fire and tools. They also have a much smaller brain than humans. This shows that although we are known for our tool use, funeral practices, and fire, maybe we weren't the first ones to use these things. On top of that, there have been some hypotheses to suggest that we learned things like tool use from observing early human species. Our understanding of early humans has been so skewed by a lack of evidence, lack of imagination, and most notably, a lack of diversity. Even today, over 80% of paleoanthropologists are white, and the majority of them are males. I'm not saying that these men don't mean well or that they are wrong, but everyone that exists on this planet has biases, and a lacking diversity, especially when it comes to studying these species, puts the field at a disadvantage. This can be seen in our understanding of female hominids. For decades, it was believed that females were passive and lived in caves and gathered berries while the men went out to hunt for food. This idea was not only wrong, but it put us at a disadvantage when we discovered more female remains. Prehistoric women had robust figures, and many can be seen hunting alongside their male counterparts. Female anatomy is built for endurance, and their affinity to collaborate and work as a team made them excellent hunters. From our discoveries of early humans, it is heavily believed that there were little to no gender roles, and male and females took equal parts in collecting food, making clothes, hunting, and even caring for offspring. This also goes for underrepresented areas like race and sexuality. While it's hard to determine sexuality of early humans or the racial differences among prehistoric humans, it's worth having those viewpoints among these discoveries. Moreover, the inclusion of different cultures allows us to understand these early humans better and may suggest some different ideas that we didn't know previously. It expands our knowledge of ourselves, and that can never hurt us. Now, where's the field of paleoanthropology headed? I don't think it shows any signs of slowing down. There have been some times in recent history where it was believed that we had found everything that we were ever going to find, but that just isn't true. And if you found everything, look somewhere else. New discoveries are being made daily, and our understanding of the human genome is only growing. Lee Berger actually has some really fascinating ideas about paleoanthropology, so I'm going to let him take it away for a second.
And yet we had denied the idea that these lineages of ancient human relatives might have also had cultures that were as complex as ours. And I think it is likely because of a tendency for even scientists to drive towards the very harmful idea of human exceptionalism. We must describe everything as if we are unique. What these discoveries are leaning towards is that we got the record wrong, but in a most beautiful way. And if we miss things like this, in what was probably one of the hardest fields of science to exist in all of history, where there were more scientists than objects, think of how wrong we've probably gotten everything else. I often tell students that we have misdefined exploration. I say that humbly in this group, because I think there is a sense that exploration is just going places where others have not been, seeing things, being the first. The first does not matter. What matters is being the first to understand, to comprehend, to truly be aware of what you have seen and recognized that no one else has before. That should be the definition of exploration.
This fascinating, messy amalgamation of taxonomy is chocked full of undiscovered information, and it's our job to find it. That's all I have for you guys today. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.